Hello everyone, welcome to YouTube channel Law Reader episode 1.5. Today we'll read the Environment and Natural Resources Code from Article 49 to Article 66. Article 49. Liability for environmental, social, and economic impact or harm. The persons whose activities or operations are related to living modified organisms cause environmental, social, economic, biodiversity, or property impact or harm due to their activities or operations shall have sole responsibility for such impact or harm. Article 50. Identification of liable persons. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources shall lead and collaborate with relevant ministries/institutions to identify the persons stipulated in Article 49, liability for environmental, social, and economic impact or harm of this code. Article 51. Impact or harm management cooperation in force majeure cases. In a force majeure case where living modified organisms have caused environmental, social, and economic impacts or harm, the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources, ministries/institutions, subnational administration, and stakeholders shall collaboratively take all measures to manage, prevent, and mitigate these impacts or harm. Article 52. Notification about environmental harm. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources shall notify the public about potential future adverse impacts caused by living modified organisms if such notification will not disturb public order and social security. Section 4. Access to and sharing of benefits from the utilization of genetic resources. Chapter 1. General Provisions. Article 53. Purpose. This section aims to ensure the sustainability and conservation of biodiversity through fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from access and utilization of genetic resources, derivatives of genetic resources, and relevant traditional knowledge. Article 54. Scope. This section shall apply to access to genetic resources, derivatives of genetic resources, and relevant traditional knowledge that originated or currently exists in the Kingdom of Cambodia or taken by the Kingdom of Cambodia or by other persons under its jurisdiction for the purpose of utilization of the genetic resources and relevant knowledge. Chapter 2. Responsible institutions. Article 55. Responsible institutions. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources shall have the authority to manage access to genetic resources and the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization in the Kingdom of Cambodia. Article 56. Roles and duties of the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. 1. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources is the national focal point, with the following roles and duties. A. Develop and implement policies, frameworks, strategic plans, activity plans, and programs concerning access to genetic resources and fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization to ensure conservation and sustainable use of resources. B. Develop and implement necessary mechanisms, forms, procedures, and measures concerning access to genetic resources and fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization. C. Lead and collaborate with relevant ministries/institutions to develop and implement legal instruments concerning access to genetic resources and fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization. D. Enhance capacity building, research, technology transfer, and knowledge to the public regarding access to genetic resources and sharing of benefits arising from their utilization. 2. Mechanisms, forms, and procedures concerning access to genetic resources and sharing of benefits arising from their utilization and penalties for related offenses shall be determined by a subdecree. Section 5. Sustainable use of ecosystem services. Chapter 1. General Provisions. Article 57. Purpose. This section aims to ensure the use of ecosystem services to support conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity resources and sustainable development in the Kingdom of Cambodia. Article 58. Scope. This section shall apply to the sustainable use of ecosystem services within and outside of natural protected areas in the Kingdom of Cambodia. Chapter 2. Responsible institutions. Article 59. Responsible institutions. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources shall manage the sustainable use of ecosystem services. Article 60. Roles and duties of the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources shall have the following roles and duties. A. Develop and implement policies, frameworks, strategic plans, and activities concerning the use of ecosystem services. B. In collaboration with relevant ministries/institutions and subnational administration, prepare principles, legal instruments, mechanisms, forms, procedures, and requirements concerning the use of ecosystem services. C. Coordinate, collect, share, and manage the implementation process of the use of ecosystem services, including contract negotiations and dispute resolutions. Article 61. Basic principles in the use of ecosystem services. The basic principles in the use of ecosystem services are A. Ensure public participation in biodiversity protection, conservation, and sustainable development. B. Ensure sustainable use of ecosystem services. Article 62. Types of ecosystem services. Types of ecosystem services include, but are not limited to, A. Provisioning services, human and animal food, drinking water, medicinal benefits, and materials. B. Regulating services include various benefits from ecosystem regulating processes, such as air purification and pollination. C. Cultural services refer to non-material benefits from the ecosystem, including but not limited to the spreading of ideas, conception, recreation, and aesthetics. D. Supporting services are necessary for the needs of people, plants, and animals, which include but are not limited to photosynthesis and nutrient cycling. Article 63. The use of ecosystem services. 1. Ecosystem service users shall pay for the services when required in the PRACAs by the minister responsible for the environment and natural resources. 2. Payment for services as in paragraph 1 shall be determined in an interministerial PRACAs by the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and the ministries/institutions responsible for economy and finance. 3. Conditions and procedures for ecosystem service payments shall be determined by the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. Section 6. Climate Change. Chapter 1. General Provisions. Article 64. Purpose. This section aims to strengthen and improve capacity for climate change adaptation and resilience and greenhouse gas emission reduction. Article 65. Scope. This section applies to all legal instruments, policies, strategies, and activity plans concerning climate change in the Kingdom of Cambodia. Chapter 2. Responsible institutions. Article 66. Responsible institutions. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources is the government's secretariat to monitor the implementation of legal instruments, policies, strategies, and activity plans concerning climate change in the Kingdom of Cambodia. Thank you for listening. See you in episode 1.6, the Environment and Natural Resources Code, the Kingdom of Cambodia. Happy New Year 2025.